How's it going?
Russian. I had a lot to do today.
Same
I
here.
had
I had some
a
things to do too, but thankfully had enough time just to remember just to make sure to get to this most importantly.
right. I'm so glad we made it.
I know.
So, about to get everything started. So, y'all already know who it is. It's your girl Cindy Dean and staying with the gang, and this is Underrated TVs. Who you are and what it is that you do.
Okay, my name is Quentin Peters. I am known as Qpzess off Instagram. I am a content creator that does photography, videography. I shoot music videos. I used to shoot a lot of live music before the whole quarantine thing kind of happened. So I guess I start shooting live stream stuff. I do press photos. I'm a video editor. I also do a lot of production assistant PA stuff. So I do like camera operating stuff and from time to time like handle lightings and that sort of thing.
Okay. So, what made you want to get into doing like editing and you know videos and just that whole world of pretty much graphic designing? I guess is what I would call it because that does incorporate a lot. So, what made you want to get in that type of career?
I think it's just more. I guess to be honest, at first I wasn't really too sure at that point of my time, but I knew I had this sort of like creative mind, especially since I was like a little kid. So there was always like this sudden urge of me that I just needed to make something. I just that I know I don't make music, so that's clearly not my thing. So there was other things I was like, okay, so there might be other things I might actually be good at that I know I can create. So, and naturally, I'm very good with a camera and I have an eye for seeing things that not many people can see certain things that way.
Yeah, that is a good skill because some of the things I see, I'm like, how do they just get it just right to where it cuts this way and cuts that? Like I see that
Yeah.
on videos, and I'm just like, I need somebody here to teach me some of this stuff myself. So, what is like one of your most creative projects that you've done?
I guess like one of the most creative projects I probably have ever done, I guess I would like to say, if not really so much by myself, but doing a lot of like behind the scenes stuff for like some music videos. There's like I can't really show the pictures or the video since the video hasn't been released yet. But there was like tons of behind the scenes pictures of me working with two other rappers based in like the east side of Washington State, not Tri Cities, but there was like this crazy little smoke machine, and one of my good friends was like wearing like one of these like punk rock jackets or
Yeah.
these pants, and there was like this crazy like smoke effect. So that was like really one came in the pictures that came out of it. It was like it's one of the dopest pictures I've ever
Oh
took.
wow.
That was like a very creative picture.
Oh, that's good. And do you also do like photography or is it mainly just video editing?
I do both.
Okay, good to know because I need some pictures. So, what could you say is one of the challenges in your career? Because I know it's a lot of, it's a very, very vast majority of people that do
Mhm.
video. So, what could you say is one of the biggest challenges that you face when, your career?
I think my biggest challenge is I think I might be saying more for myself, but I think a lot of people can relate to that. It's basically communication and relationships. Definitely goes a long way, especially from like a start of like an idea that maybe I might have, or maybe my client has something, and then if there's not really any sort of like not a way if we can be on like the same page on these sort of things, like, and it's kind of hard to see how we can get from this one spot to even get to even close to remotely the product that the client needs to be able to project either themselves or the product onto their niche audience.
Right, because in definitely some video shoots, I've seen some of the craziest music videos, and some of them look very dangerous. Like it
Yeah.
really get hurt, whatever it is that they're doing. So you do have to be. Have you ever had to stop a production due to miscommunication or like the negligence of how serious something could be, because you know there are some props that could be dangerous, or maybe the police have shown up like, hey, you can't
Mm,
do this here, you know?
yeah. Um, I haven't necessarily gotten too much to that point since most of the times I usually try to like push my boundaries by trying to go to a point where if this gets too close to a risk where someone can actually get hurt, I actually would pull the plug on that right away. But most of the times I've been mostly just been pushing the boundaries, not really so much gotten to a point where it would be too risky.
Right. So I guess so. Tell me some things about like props, because you see so many videos where they have like all this money, or they have, you know,
Yeah.
guns or drugs and things. So how are these, you know, are most of these props like, are they real, or are they just kind of for just the clout? Like, do you have those moments where, okay, we're gonna use this fake? Because I've seen like on apps where they have like the fake money for like the
Oh yeah.
that you shoot. So it kind of wonders me, like, so is all the money in these videos fake, or are they real?
Usually like half of the stuff that's usually just fake. You can usually just find like tons of like fake dollars at like toy stores or like a Walmart or Target or something like that. And along with like a bunch of fake diamonds, and you can also like do some like sort of like mince edits here and there on like the videos to kind of make it look like in close as though like they're actual real things, but they're not for the most part.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Have you seen the big talk about 6ix9ine's new video? Have you seen his new video?
I've seen a lot of stories, but I try to not get too much tapped into with 6ix9ine, especially with all the things
I
he's done.
video. I think it's really funny. You know,
But it is funny. But
I think it's like, so. I don't. Have you seen it?
I've I've heard a lot of the stories from it, and my homies have been talking about it a lot. So I'm bound to find out about it when they're
Because it's very like, it's very, I can't say, it's very colorful and very creative, because
yeah.
it got to me wondering, because like a lot of the questions I've been hearing, like, how did whoever did his video so crisp like that in the
Hmm.
quarantine, and how, I don't know where he's gotten all this paint. I don't know who washed this all off, but
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, whoever did it was very creative to have
Oh
done
yeah.
it, because man, I don't know if I could have done it. That's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
So with your business, how long have you been doing this? Like, I know you said you kind of had this creativeness from since you were little, but like, when did you actually get started, and how long have you been doing it?
I've been actively doing this for about 3 years. I originally did do a little bit of video back in like high school, but it was more like kind of like a hobbyish type thing. I was working off of like these like old cassette video camera type things. So, and I was in like a small town, middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, so I didn't really have as much access to like much more bigger, nicer camera equipment to compare to maybe like most kids that live in like urban cities where they have a little bit more better access to these type of things. But I always
Yeah.
had like this sort of creative mind, and I didn't really started picking up a camera till sometime after I first moved into Seattle, probably like my towards the end of my first in the beginning of my second year living here. I originally started out just shooting just live music for free,
Oh,
interning at these venues up in Seattle known as like Numos, Barboza, and basically to just shoot both local and mainstream acts in like either in the smallest venue or in like the bigger venue, just doing my thing.
oh, okay. Well, that's really cool. So, are you
With
from Seattle?
no, I am not from Seattle. I live in Seattle, but I was born in South Carolina, but I moved around a lot, so I'm like one of those like Air Force kids.
So you a country boy? Okay, I see you.
Yep.
um,
Lived in yep, lived in South Carolina, lived in Tokyo, lived in England, lived in Turkey.
oh my gosh, you've been all over the world.
Yep.
My to go is Asia. That's definitely on my list to go. So how was Tokyo? Like, how was that experience?
It was a pretty dope experience. It's definitely a lot more cramped than basically than being here in the U.S. There's a lot of things like that. Food's pretty expensive. got to actually live with the locals, so I got to pick up maybe a few things, but I never got the chance to like speak the
Yeah.
language.
How was the food? I know their cuisine is
Oh yeah,
wonderful.
since I was like 5 years old, so I was like,
Oh,
well, I so
right.
basically most of my food tastes weren't as more refined as I got older, but there was just like this one funny story. I was at this
Oh,
yakiniku joint where I just like ordered like a bunch of like random meat dishes and I just kept like throwing them into like the grill type thing, and I always had to force my dad to eat all that. I was a pretty wild kid back then.
oh my goodness. Well, that is amazing. You've been to some pretty big places. So, what are some things that you may be planning on in the future for your business on maybe expanding? So, what are some new things that we can look forward to coming, from your business?
Well, you'll definitely be seeing a lot more music videos. The last one I did with Top, that just dropped a couple days ago. It just recently just hit 10K views off of his YouTube channel, so I'm super happy about that.
That's great.
So yeah, you'll
So,
definitely be seeing more of that, and I'll definitely be releasing a merch line. Well, it's kind of hard to see off of
oh,
this Instagram live, so,
yeah.
so yeah. Basically, my company's called Heart. I legally can't own the actual name business license wise because that's like a common word. So it's
I
Instagram.
love
Yeah, thank you.
that. Kind of like, it's a play on words. I love that art because what you do is a form of art. So, I
Yeah.
really do like that. So, do you plan on maybe, have you thought about wanting to like shoot a movie? Like, have you thought about movie productions?
Oh yeah, I thought of that all the time. Mostly, if I was going to be doing that sort of thing, it would probably be like documentaries, comedies, because I love comedies. Either
Yeah,
that or just like action movies. Since I used to grow up watching a bunch of martial art movies when I was like a kid, like the Bruce Lee and all that sort of
yeah,
thing. So
definitely.
maybe stuff like that. I also would do like a lot of psychological thrillers since I like those type of like pictures that just like the movie just like messes with your head.
Oh, kind of like Us, how it messes with how
Yeah.
that movie messes. Oh my gosh, I hate movies like that because it's really it. Cause when I first saw the movie, it makes you those type of movies. You're so confused, like what is going on, and then it like
Yeah.
really have to sit and pay attention to the movie. But at the end of the day, it's like a really good movie. You're like, I
Yeah.
now, because American Horror Story is like that to me. Like it's
Yeah.
off a certain thing, before you even know it's based off of like a real thing.
Oh
It's
yeah.
what is this about?
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I do love those kind of movies. I think those are, but I'll be in the movie. I like to be in those kind of movies because I want to be in a movie like that, make people feel.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. So, guys, you guys that are tuned in, if you have any questions that you want to ask him, about his business, anything outside personal life, like what's his favorite food, can he cook? Can you cook? Are you a cooker?
I used to work as a line cook at a pizza place, so I know my way around things.
Well, you know what? One of my favorite, I guess I don't consider pizza fast food jobs, even though they are kind of like
Yeah.
because it does take time. I used to work at a pizza place. That was one of my favorite fast food jobs I ever worked because I actually liked making because I made the pizzas. I actually liked
Yeah.
making pizza. So I think that's a really good. I guess it is a pretty cool skill to have because I was a delivery person too, but my car
Oh
broke.
yeah.
And so when I got moved to crew, I was like, I kind of want to stay on this side, even though
Yeah.
it's busy. I kind of like this side better than, even though tips are good, but it's a lot of wear and tear on your car.
Yeah. For
It,
sure.
it's not cool.
Yeah.
And,
I used to make like a teriyaki pizza that I sometimes would give to my coworkers.
oh, that sounds, man, I swear, because my store manager does the same thing. He'll start making all kind of like, I mean,
Yeah.
made, we have like this, like you have the cheesy bread, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
cinnamon on there. So we had like this
Ooh,
breadsticks. He literally took a whole piece of dough and just made some cinnamon rolls one day. Like he flattened out
that's awesome.
and like just was making all and like he would make all kinds of because we would always have leftover dough. So
Oh
he
yeah.
make all kinds of stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a job you get fat at because all you do is just eat.
Yeah. that's why I mean always usually I make like a bunch of like really spicy salads, like throw a bunch of buffalo chicken,
I love
get
that.
get like jalapenos, and then whatever else is like the next spiciest thing.
Yeah. So that's really cool. So, like, is there anyone in the industry that's like maybe like your favorite artist or anybody that you would love to work with one day?
Ooh, there's actually a few couple I've been listening to. There's this one from TDE. Reason I've been listening to his music, his newer stuff pretty recently. I definitely been loving what he's been doing so far.
And what's his name?
Reason.
Reason. I'm gonna have to look him up. I've never heard of him.
He was recently signed under the TDE label a couple of years ago. He's already done a features with Absol, and one of his newer singles, Showstop, he has Kendrick Lamar as more like the ad libs.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
I have to look him up. Reason. I'm gonna because it's a, like I've since doing all of this, I've learned about so many different artists that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Like I gotta look at this stuff.
Yeah.
That's Have you what are your favorite, I know you talked about movie production and you like action movies, but have you ever thought about maybe wanting to do like a horror film? Because I love scary movies and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure.
I kind of I kind of mentioned thrillers a little bit because sometimes in horror movies there's like a thriller theme to it. So yeah, I would definitely
Yeah.
would love to make horror films. I would
Because
probably have
I
to pick.
always wonder if that's why I think like, because there's so much stuff going on. I always wonder if
Yeah.
actors really actually scared in these movies because there's it's so
Yeah.
around them, it's just like, are
Hmm.
you really scared?
Yeah.
I always want to know how they do like the new Chucky movie really made me mad. I was really that they played. I feel like they played him. I was like,
Yeah.
no, you play this doll because all the people who've never seen the older versions. I'm like, he was not no electronic
No.
doll. This was a best doll by
No.
a
He was
spirit.
straight up a made actual doll that literally killed people.
Like he
And he
wasn't
was
like if Alexa was a person that went evil,
yeah.
that's what that was. Like, no, this is not.
Definitely.
I'm so mad.
No.
Hating. I be telling
I'd be like that all the time.
hating. I swear. But I was saying, are there any last minute shout outs or any words of encouragement that you want to give other people that are in your field? You know, anything you would like to say?
Definitely want to give a real shout out to Top on Instagram at I am Top. He is basically one of the few people that actually got me dived into the Seattle music scene. So a lot of things I had done so far to even remotely even getting to this point to say like this interview has been part a lot of it has been part of because of him. And I will definitely do another shout out to my good friend Shehan on Instagram at Shehanzo. He's a very talented, based in LA. He's doing like a lot of very interesting stuff. He's currently working with Ray Khalil from Rhythm and Flow. If you have watched that, very talented rapper. Definitely would love to work with her very soon. Once this whole craziness has finally blown over and
Right.
all that.
I
Um,
know.
yeah,
Definitely can't wait till it's all over. I
yeah,
definitely can't.
yeah.
But
There, yeah.
I do thank you so much for letting me have you on here. I'm
Yeah, of
so
course. Thank you
happy
so much.
to be able to. I love learning about different skills. Like you're my first person like who does music videos, so I think it's really cool that you do editing. I love to have different people on here, so I
Mhm.
thank you for on here. If you guys
Again,
missed
thank you
it,
so much.
your friends missed it, this will be on my YouTube channel. So don't worry, guys. You can rewatch it as many times as you want. So definitely go follow him. Follow him. Work with him. If you guys who are artists that need music videos, photography, anything to be done, definitely go follow him and hit him up. He is amazing at what he does.
Thank you
So
so much.
that. Go follow me at pretty_Cindy at _underrated TV. Thanks for being on here. You have a great night, and I hope to be reconnected with you soon once this is all is over.
Definitely, for sure.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Have a good night, everybody.